Hey, Kyle's Wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's WWE Main Event from August 24th, 2022, and it was recorded August 22nd in Toronto, Canada, before the big Raw. It was a huge Raw in Toronto with three hometown heroes in the arena. We also saw the major return of Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, which was a major moment for all longtime NXT fans. So big things are definitely happening in WWE right now as we go full steam ahead to the Clash at the Castle event a week from Saturday. Even NXT is undergoing major changes right now with NXT UK folding. It is no longer a brand. 80% of the NXT UK roster was released, with the other 20% moving to NXT 2.0, meaning that even more people will be jumping from NXT to the main roster very soon. And that makes these main event matches we'll watch tonight even more important than usual, as everyone on the fringes of the main roster will be fighting hard to prove that they're still valuable and still worth being around. So we start this week's episode of Main Event with Tamina coming out, decent cheers from the crowd, and then Dana Brooke is her partner. So we'll start with a women's tag team match, an important match in the women's tag division, as Doudrop and Nikki ASH come out next. Both of these teams lost in the first round of the women's tag team tournament, but with Gigi Dolan getting injured and Toxic Attraction being removed from the second round, all four teams that lost in the first round will have a second chance fatal four-way tag match this Friday in my hometown of Detroit, Michigan on SmackDown. The winners of that have to take on Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah later that same night in the semifinals, and the winner of that one will meet Io Sky and Dakota Kai in the finals on Raw this week. So the crowd that'll crown the brand new women's tag team champion, with many rumors going around that Sasha Banks and Naomi are on their way back. That could potentially be the return of Sasha and Naomi next week on Raw. Big news if that happens. Anyway, Dana Brooke and Nikki ASH are going to start out this match on Main Event this week. Nikki's somehow able to take the larger Dana down right away here, but Dana comes back with a nice shoulder tackle and a flipping running splash. Tamina then, it basically was a standing twisted bliss of all things. Tamina now tags in. They double team Nikki. Doudrop pulls Nikki out of the ring to avoid a corner splash from Tamina. Now Doudrop is able to tag in. She shoves Tamina, and Tamina shoves her back. A big brawl breaks out here between the two big women. Tamina tries to lift Doudrop up, but can't. Doudrop tries to lift Tamina, but she can't either. Tamina then gets Doudrop stuck in the corner. Dana tags in, and they hit a double team on Doudrop. Dana then hits a handspring elbow in the corner, and Nikki has to distract Dana a little bit here, and that allows Doudrop to take control. Nikki now tags in. She works a cravat on the neck, then has a snapmare takeover, applying a chin lock, and the crowd rallies. They're cheering for Dana Brooke in this match. So Doudrop tags in. They keep Dana in their corner. Nikki gets knocked off the apron here, and Dana's able to hit a wheelbarrow bulldog and tag in her partner Tamina. Doudrop then counters Tamina, but Tamina hits a big super kick to the face, followed by a Samoan drop that, oh, that was scary. Didn't want to see Doudrop land on her head, and she didn't, but it was scary. Anyway, Nikki then just barely breaks up the pin in time. Dana gets taken out of the ring, and Doudrop squashes her with a running senton outside of the ring. Tamina then is taking apart Nikki back in the ring, but Doudrop gets a blind tag, and she takes out Tamina behind the knee from behind. Then Doudrop hits a running cross body, and Nikki comes in to hit a Samoan drop neckbreaker double team combo, and that gets the 1-2-3. Dana Brooke was still squashed on the outside, wasn't able to get the pin, so they break up the pin. The winners of this match by pinfall, Doudrop and Nikki ASH. However, the battle might have been won tonight, but the war might have been lost, because it looks like Doudrop is super mad and her nose is completely busted open, broken, and spread all across her face. Unfortunate for Doudrop. So that might just take the curse of the women's tournament, might rear its ugly head again, and Doudrop might have to miss the four-way, taking Nikki out as well if Doudrop's nose is super broken. So that's something to keep an eye on. I rewatched the last half of this match to see where it happened, and I'm pretty sure it was the super kick from Tamina. So Tamina, as usual, super sloppy in the ring. She nearly doesn't ever do anything, but when she does something, it's sloppy. Tamina, I'm going to say it. Tamina needs to go. She's not needed on the roster in 2022. I don't want to see people get fired per se. Maybe you can move her to a backstage role, but we've moved past the need to see Tamina in the ring. So anyway, the tournament might be cursed again. Maybe it'll be a three-way match if Doudrop can't compete. So Natalya and Sonya Deville are one of the other teams, along with Xia Li and Shotzi, and those are the four teams that are supposed to compete in the four-way on SmackDown. So now we get the recaps. As Main Event is mostly a recap show, I'll just quickly go through them, but you can find my full Raw and SmackDown reviews on this channel. So first we saw that cool video from Karrion Kross and Scarlett on SmackDown, followed by the face-to-face between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. That's leading up to their title match at Clash of the Castle in Drew's home country of the UK. Eventually, Roman's new best friend, Sami Zayn, came out to help Roman avoid a Claymore kick, but Drew was able to counter a Roman spear with a Claymore kick, and Drew stood tall to end this week's SmackDown. We also saw a recap of Liv Morgan's feud with Shayna Basler, another one of the big title matches at Clash at the Castle, and Liv beat Shotzi last week. We then go to the tag match from Raw, which was AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley taking on The Miz and Champa. This match ended when The Miz was kidnapped, of all things, by Dexter Lumis. We never found out what happened to The Miz, but we did see that Dexter appeared on NXT last night where he could say goodbye to his wife, Indy Hartwell. Then the cops showed up and they arrested Dexter Lumis. Meanwhile, right after Dexter Lumis kidnapped the Miz on Raw, Johnny Gargano returned the very next segment. So really interesting stuff going on there. So now it's time for our second and last main event match from this week, and it'll also be a tag match, this time in the men's division. So the new team, the heart and soul of 205 Live, Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali, they come out first, and they made their Raw debut as a tag team a week ago Monday, losing to The Miz and Ciampa. So Cedric beats Shelton Benjamin 2 weeks ago, his former tag partner, but Shelton will have another chance to take out Cedric tonight, as Shelton will team up with T-Bar, of all people, for this tag team match. We've seen Shelton the last 2 weeks shaking the hands of everybody and being a super nice guy. However, maybe he's still unhappy about Cedric moving on to a new tag partner. They're going to start the match, Shelton and Cedric, and Shelton shakes his hand, so maybe this will be another friendly competition. Shelton gets a takedown, but T-Bar then tags himself right away here. Shelton didn't look very happy about that one. T-Bar then hits Cedric a few times and is talking trash to his own partner, Shelton. Then this team doesn't seem to be working out very well. Ali tags in, but T-Block is able to block a double team, hitting a double suplex on both men. Then T-Bar slaps the chest of Shelton to tag him in, and Shelton didn't like that again. Cedric then counters their weak-looking double team move here, and Shelton Cedric tries to dive out of the ring on the T-Bar, but Shelton's able to hit a nasty-looking knee strike to the face, saving T-Bar. Then Shelton's like yelling, turning his back, yelling like, "Look, I just saved you. Quit being a dick," or whatever. So T-Bar shoves Shelton, but then we find out it was just to save Shelton from a diving Ali. T-Bar's able to catch Ali by the throat and hit a chokeslam into the apron. That looked brutal. And we go to an ad break right after that. When we come back, Shelton's in the ring hitting a snap suplex on Cedric, who kicks out, but Shelton applies a chin lock right away. The crowd's rallying for Cedric to fight back. Cedric is able to strike his way out, and then both men have a striking exchange now. Shelton hits another step-up knee strike that looked really good, and T-Bar tags in now. Cedric kicks out at 2, then T-Bar tags in Shelton hard again, and again Shelton gets mad at this. Cedric takes advantage of all this bickering and knocks Shelton down. Both men tag out. Ali and T-Bar are now in, former Retribution guys. Ali now hits a drop kick and uses really great agility here to hit a kick, but Ali tries a rolling attack. T-Bar counters it mid-move with a huge lariat. That looked awesome. Really good match here. Make sure you watch this one. Shelton and Cedric now come in. Shelton hits him with a German suplex. Ali then hits a tornado DDT on Shelton, and T-Bar hits a nasty mafia kick, big boot to the face of Ali, who just barely kicks out at 2. Really good match. T-Bar's now caught in the wrong corner, and Ali's able to hit a top rope Spanish fly. That was incredible. This is just this is something we've been seeing over the last few weeks on Main Event. Really good matches. We get a top rope Spanish fly now. Shelton has to come in and break up the pin. Then Shelton slaps T-Bar, I guess, to wake him up. But again, they've been yelling at each other all night. This makes T-Bar mad again. The two partners shove each other around. Ali tries to hit a springboard attack on both men, but it was super botched looking and not a good way to end this match. But then Cedric tags in, hitting a vertical suplex on T-Bar, and Ali hits a nice looking 450 splash off the top rope. Cedric makes the cover and gets the 1-2-3. The winners of this match by pinfall, Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali, as I call him, the heart and soul of 205 Live. Really good match here. If you have any passing interest in any of these four guys, definitely go watch this one. It's not too long, and it's very impactful and hard-hitting. So clearly, Shelton Benjamin's still a good guy, which explains why he couldn't get along with the bad guy T-Bar. So maybe Ali and Alexander will get another match on Raw next week, picking up a win after they got the Raw lost. Then they got back the Main Event won, so maybe we'll see them back on Raw. Maybe they can pick up a win this time. Meanwhile, speaking of the Raw Tag Team division, Street Profits weren't on Raw for a second straight week. Last week, we saw them on Main Event defeating Alpha Academy, but this week, no Street Profits whatsoever. So I'm wondering what they're going to do next. They've kind of been teasing maybe breaking up and stuff. So we'll see what goes on with that. Anyway, Main Event ends with a quick recap of the brawl between Seth Rollins and Riddle. That's going to lead up to a face-to-face this week on Raw, followed by a match 5 days after that at Clash of the Castle. And don't forget, Kurt Angle will be in the arena this Raw, because Raw this week is from his hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it'll be great to see Kurt Angle on Raw. And we'll close out to close out this episode of Main Event. We see a good portion of the great Raw Main Event, which saw Edge defeat Damian Priest in Edge's hometown of Toronto, Canada, where Edge wrestled for the first time in over a decade. And it was a really good match. Make sure you watch that one as well. It ended after the match with a 3-on-1 beatdown of Edge by the Judgment Day, and Beth Phoenix, Edge's wife, had to come out and make the save with a chair. So maybe that's setting us up for a possibly setting us up for a big tag team match, Edge and Beth Phoenix, maybe against Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. I would love to also see a singles match, Rhea Ripley and Beth Phoenix. So maybe we could see that as well. But I'm assuming we'll see another one of those tag matches like we saw at Royal Rumble this year, where Beth Phoenix and Edge defeated The Miz and Maurice. So maybe we'll see something like that. Maybe it'll be at Clash at the Castle. So the big news coming out of this main event, hopefully Doudrop's nose isn't too broken and she'll be able to show up on SmackDown for the 4-way first round second chance match in the tournament. If she isn't able to make it, really the women's tournament will be super cursed. If Doudrop broke her nose here on Main Event and isn't able to make it to SmackDown, the women's tournament is so cursed. That'll be the third team that has to drop out because of injury, which is ridiculous when you think about it. Only started with 8 teams, so almost half the teams, which we had to bring more in, and now these are all the women that lost in the first round getting a second chance, and one of those teams might get injured now. So ridiculous stuff there. Anyway, the other match was awesome. Make sure you watch this Shelton Benjamin T-Bar teaming up, where they didn't want to team up, taking on Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. Really, really good match. And I'm going to get going. I'll be back with, how can you see Main Event for free? Probably watchwrestling.com, or it's not .com. Just type in Watch Wrestling on any search engine, and you should be able to find Main Event. You might be able to find it on YouTube as well, but I watch it on Hulu here in America, so I don't know if you have Hulu or where you're from, but that's where I watch it. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Definitely go check out this Main Event match if you can find it on Watch Wrestling. Just type that into a search engine and you'll find it. So thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys again next time. Peace.